that, guys. Gaano semua gaano semua. Zhongshan Pencil dulu.
Category 5 Hurricane Melissa is about to make landfall in Jamaica. As Melissa nears landfall, Jamaica's electricity grid is already straining. Jamaica experienced several power outages under hurricane conditions before Melissa made landfall, said Daryl Vaz, Jamaica's Minister for Science, Energy, Telecommunications and Transport. The electricity grid managed by Jamaica Public Service, JPS, the country's only electricity provider, has already been impacted by hurricane conditions which have caused several power outages across the island, Vaz said Tuesday at a news conference. Several generation units, critical high-voltage substations, transmission and distribution lines across the island have been forced out of service by hurricane-force winds and lightning, he said. Around 35% of JPS customers, some 240,000 people, were without power before landfall, Vaz said. Most hospitals on the island are still receiving power, except those in the southwestern parishes of Manchester and St. Elizabeth, which are running on standby generator power, he said. There is no plan at this point to shut down the grid, he stressed. GPS crews are working on restoring power where it is safe to do so, Vaz added. Hurricane Melissa is about to make landfall in Jamaica, according to the 11 a.m. ET advisory. Melissa is centered 40 miles southeast of Negril, Jamaica, and is tracking north-northeast at 9 miles per hour. Maximum sustained winds remain 185 miles per hour. Landfall is expected in a couple of hours, the Hurricane Center said. Catastrophic winds, flash flooding, and storm surge are already pummeling the island, and those impacts will continue through the afternoon. Jamaica's central parishes are most at risk from the heavy rainfall of Hurricane Melissa when it makes landfall, according to Evan Thompson, Principal Director of Jamaica's Meteorological Service. The latest forecast estimates that central parts of Jamaica could see as much as 75 centimeters, around 30 feet, of rain over the next 2 days, he said, warning of grim consequences. Flooding is expected, landslides are expected, storm surge is expected, and of course those strong winds we will not be able to escape, especially if you're in the path of this system, close to the eye of the hurricane, Thompson said. Kingston Mayor Andrew Swaby said Jamaica is braced for catastrophe, but ready to bounce back immediately. Our infrastructure will get some battering from this hurricane, Swaby told CNN's Erica Hill. We have pre-positioned some heavy-duty equipment at a strategic location because Kingston is the center of government and is a center for economy, so we have to put ourselves in that position so we can recover as soon as possible, he added. The mayor said the effort to minimize damage has been a collaborative one, with multiple agencies and neighboring countries pooling resources to protect the island from long-term devastation. While damage control has been ramped up since news of Melissa, planning has been taking place since the beginning of this hurricane season back in June. As we've been reporting, Jamaica is bracing for the imminent landfall of Hurricane Melissa, a Category 5 storm and one of the strongest Atlantic hurricanes in history. Melissa's eyewall, where the hurricane's strongest winds are located, has already started to move into the country. Vulnerable communities across Jamaica have been evacuated for their safety, but others are hunkering down at home as they brace for Hurricane Melissa's landfall. One of those Kingston residents staying home is Piber, whose mountainside house is around 10 kilometers from the ocean, he says. Our house was built with this kind of storm in mind, Piber told CNN's Erica Hill of the home he shares with his family. We are a little bit nervous. My cat is panicking in the corner. The Kingston resident said Jamaicans feel as prepared as they can be for what lies ahead, adding that information shared by government officials has been helpful. He cited a live stream used to tackle queries and concerns as a useful tool. We made sure we have sufficient water for at least a week. We're making sure we have the amount of food cooked and ready in case the power goes out, Piber added. People are in high spirits, people are communicating and making sure everyone is ready for the storm. There's a good sense of community over here.
Nobody can know. PMP can't go through this unless it all go round.
In its latest update, the National Hurricane Center warned Jamaicans that this is the last chance to protect their lives as the island braces for the catastrophic winds of Hurricane Melissa. The NHC warned that failure to take shelter could lead to serious injury and death. To avoid falling trees is the safest place you can be in a building. You can cover yourself with a mattress, and we are a helmet for added protection, it said. In the same warning, the NDCG said Melissa is continuing to strengthen, with maximum sustained winds of 185 miles per hour, 295 km. Melissa had a pressure reading at its center of 892 m at 10 a.m. ET, according to the National Hurricane Center. Pressure is another data point in addition to wind speed that forecasters use to tell how strong a storm is. The lower the pressure, the stronger the storm. Melissa's pressure drop places it in rare company. Only 2 Atlantic hurricanes have ever had a lower pressure. Melissa's 185 miles per hour sustained winds also mean it is tied as the second strongest hurricane in Atlantic history in terms of wind speed. As of 10 a.m. ET, Hurricane Melissa had sustained winds of 185 miles per hour and a pressure at its center of 892 MB, according to the National Hurricane Center. The 185 miles per hour winds make it the second strongest storm in terms of wind speed in Atlantic history, trailing only Hurricane Allen, 190 miles per hour from 1980. It is tied with 4 other storms as the second strongest storm in history by wind speed. Melissa's eyewall, where the hurricane's strongest winds are located, has started to move into Jamaica, making the start of Melissa's landfall process. The hurricane will not officially make landfall until at least half of its eye, or center, crosses over land. This should happen in the next few hours. Melissa is moving to the north-northeast at 7 miles per hour. Hurricane Melissa's northern eyewall is beginning to move ashore in southern Jamaica. The eyewall is where Melissa's most extreme and devastating winds up to 180 miles per hour are found. This is the beginning of the landfall process. Landfall will officially occur when the center of the eye crosses the coast, which should occur sometime later this morning or in the early afternoon. We've also been hearing from people on the ground in Jamaica as the island prepares to take on one of the most powerful storms it has ever known. Robert H.P. Hill is the CEO of Planning and Regulation Administration Kingston and St. Andrew Municipal Corporation and has been part of the effort to keep citizens safe.
Respect for you give them, guys.
Speaking with CNN's John Berman, Hill said he watched the wind speeds increase and the weather intensify from his waterfront office as his team put safety measures in place. We have taken all the precautions we could have taken to ensure all our citizens are safe or are in certified shelters with enough supplies for them to ride through this storm, he said, adding that the city's homeless are also being cared for. Hill pinpointed floods as one of the biggest threats to Jamaica, particularly in low-lying areas prone to flooding. This is going to be one of those systems that dumps quite a bit of rain over the island, and that means that we're expecting flood inundation in low-lying areas and across other communities that are near the coastal areas, he added. Hill said teams had worked in preparation to clear drains, gullies, and waterways to minimize flooding risk as they continue to monitor the situation. One independent journalist reporting from Jamaica has warned that rainfall could cascade down the island's mountains like a water slide and cause floods closer to sea level. Having reported on extreme weather events before, Jonathan Petramola told CNN's Sarah Sidner that he would advise residents to stay away from sources of water, with storm surges expected near the coastline.
As you can see, there's been a little bit of damage so far, but of course Melissa hasn't even made landfall yet, to my knowledge.
As well as storm surges, Jamaica will face the threat of flooding from rainfall in the mountains. You have the mountains and the water is going to be rushing down like if it was on a water slide. There's going to be a lot of force behind the water when the rain falls up there and it comes down into the cities and towns, Petramola said. That's going to add another level of danger when you have that rushing water that can not only wash you away, it can wash vehicles away, it can wash homes away, he said. Hurricane Melissa is closing in on Jamaica. The powerful storm was already causing rough seas Tuesday morning in Montego Bay in the northwestern part of the island. Sunrise has revealed a stunning look at Category 5 Melissa this morning. This visible satellite image shows how the hurricane looks from space. Most notable is what's called the stadium effect in the storm's eye. This describes the towering clouds in the eyewall taking on the appearance of circular seating in a sports stadium. It's a phenomenon seen in many powerful hurricanes and is caused by air rising rapidly outward near the eye. That makes clouds at the top of the eyewall wider in diameter than those in the bottom layers closer to the ocean, yielding a bowl-shaped appearance when viewed from space and by hurricane hunters in the storm. Hurricane Melissa now has sustained winds of 180 miles per hour according to the National Hurricane Center, further cementing its status as the most powerful storm on the planet this year. More insight now into what could happen on the ground in Jamaica and the vice president of U.S.-based nonprofit organization United Cajun Navy, Brian Trasher, said conditions are deteriorating rapidly as Hurricane Melissa presses in on the island.
Outside is buzzing. Outside is buzzing. Yes. Me watch it like I go where I know.
Trasher told John Berman on CNN this morning that the Category 5 monster storm's path made evacuation efforts especially challenging as the storm shifted west before stalling. It looks like it's going to eventually turn back to the northeast. He said, "It's been very hard to safely pre-position people like playing dodgeball," he added. Trasher urged residents to brace themselves for the devastation Melissa is likely to bring, adding, "There is no amount of caution they can take that will be too much or overkill. The wind speeds are going to be very traumatic, life-threatening." He advised people to be mindful of loose objects likely to be whipped up by forceful gusts, which will become dangerous projectiles capable of penetrating windows and wooden structures. Trasher also warned of the power of landslides, encouraging people to take shelter in concrete structures on the lee side of hills and mountains or at a great height to avoid being swept up. We're talking about trillions of gallons of water that's going to be dumped into a mountainous island, and the gravity is going to take that water nowhere but down, he added.